Alright, to turn our symmetrical drawing designs into a painting, the first thing that you're going to need to do is dry stretch. So you want to turn your painting over, make sure you write your name on the back, and then we're dry stretching just like we did with bleeding tissue paper, where you need to tape down all four sides and make sure that your border is nice and even. Because remember, where the tape is, the paint will not be sticking to it. And then once you've got it taped down, then you need to use the Sharpie marker and write your name on the masking tape so that I know whose project this is, because your name is on the back now and I can't see whose project it is. Okay. Alright, to turn this to paint, all you need is a shared water cup and a paintbrush. Remember to only fill the water cup half full of water so that you're not spilling the water as you walk from the sink back to your desk. Then you're going to want to paint one color section at a time. So I always paint light to dark. So for me, the light green is where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to paint right inside my pencil lines. And if you're using a flat brush, make sure that you're using the side edge of the brush to stay inside your lines. Because if your paintbrush goes outside in the white areas, it's going to pull the paint with it, and you're going to end up getting color inside the white spots, which we'll be doing a background in a different step. Okay, so now that that's finished, now I can start to paint into my dark areas. So I always rinse my brush between colors. Even though that light green, when it drags into the dark green, it would just mix and make a pleasing color. I still just always wash between colors. And that's it. That's all it takes to turn this to paint. You want to go slowly. You want to stay inside your pencil lines. At the end of the period, well, rather, when you finish this, you need to let this paint dry before we do anything with the background, because this is turning to watercolor paint. And when watercolors touch each other, they mix and bleed. So that's why we're going to let this dry first before we begin to do what's going to go in the background space. So right here where my light blue is touching my green, I'm being very careful so my brush isn't touching that dark green, because then it would be pulling it into the dark green into the light green. And because there's purple on my brush, I'm going to rinse that before I do my next section. Okay, so right here where the purple touches the green, I'm going to be very careful not to let my paintbrush touch my green, because then it's going to turn my purple green. And you might also work with a little bit of paper towel next to you to soak up any spots where the paint went outside of the line. So I rinsed my brush because now my color's turning to red and I had purple on my brush. And then if you finish this in one setting, you need to let it dry for a bit. And depending on how much water is on your page, it might take the whole period to dry, but I'll explain what we do with our backgrounds at a different time, because this paint has to dry before I can even do my background. So at the end of class, to clean up, you're just going to rinse your brushes in your cup of water. You need to empty your water cup and then bring that back to your table. With the paintbrush should stay at your table also. And then I will collect your paintings and put them in the drying rack by table number. And then we'll just be working on this again next